Okay, today I was watching this YouTube video about the story of Pan Am. It's called Come Fly With Me, the story of Pan Am. And part of the movie has this little clip on it. I'll just play it.
In the 1960s, Pan Am cruise was so glamorous and successful, it's no wonder they caught the eye of 16-year-old confidence trickster Frank Abagnale. For over 2 years, he successfully impersonated a Pan Am pilot, and his story became the subject of the Steven Spielberg film Catch Me If You Can.
One afternoon, I was walking up 42nd Street in New York, and all of a sudden, coming out of what was then the Commodore Hotel, was a Pan American Airline flight crew. And I was so impressed with the pilots and the flight attendants and all the respect and heads they turned as they were coming down the steps getting ready to board a van to take them to the airport. And I thought to myself, boy, if I could get one of these uniforms, then I could pose as a Pan Am pilot.
Using a little ingenuity, Frank did manage to get hold of a uniform, and suddenly doors opened. In particular, bank doors.
Had I walked into a bank and had that Pan Am check that I'd made up and handed it to someone, they'd have laughed me out of the bank the way it looked. But because I walked in with the uniform on of the Pan Am pilot, they didn't think anything about it. They weren't paying attention to the check. They were only paying attention to me. He was able to cash.
Okay, that's about it. Don't want to play the whole thing. But anyway, so there's this guy, I think it's Frank somebody, I'm not very good at remembering names. So, okay, so I thought I'd go a little bit further and check all this out. So what I do is I first of all go and have a look up in Wikipedia, all right? And I actually went to the Google and Googled Catch Me If You Can, which is the name of the movie, and then I found the guy's name's Frank Abagnale. I don't know how you pronounce that. Anyway, so this talks about him, all right? And I'll let you put a link to the YouTube, to the Wikipedia article. But it's interesting, the guy obviously is a fraudster, all right, or a scammer. That's another thing. He actually passed dud checks. That's what he did in his day. Nowadays, it's done a little bit differently. Anyway, so it talks about that, but interestingly, in the thing, it shows a photo of him, and what's the name tells it, and Wikipedia tells everything about that. And interesting, at the end, it says he says what he said. It says he wrote a book about himself and what he did. However, the guy is a sort of a fraudster. So you're going to the end of the Wikipedia article. It talks about veracity of his claims. Right? Did he actually do what he said that he did, considering that he is a criminal? Right? So that's what I find amusing about the whole guy. So anyway, as a consequence of that, at the bottom of every Wikipedia article, usually there's a thing that says external links. So you go to external links, and I go to the official Abagnale and Associates, or whatever you pronounce it, website. So go to there, right? And there he is. That's his name, right? Got a whole lot of things. Says what he does, etc. All right. However, if I scroll down a little bit more, I don't know if this is going to work here. It's his homepage, right? Talks about himself, and he actually says here, has been associated with the FBI for over 4 decades. Associated was a criminal. Okay, he lectures extensively at the FBI Academy and for field officers of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Now, I don't know, but why would the FBI want to associate themselves with criminals? And he's saying this, but how can you tell it's true? Anyway, it goes on. There's got lots of things that this guy does, and he's written a book called Scam Me If You Can, right? Okay, and perhaps it might be worthwhile reading. Don't know. All I'm saying, this guy gets a whole lot of notoriety because originally he was a criminal, and now says he's now straight, but some of the stories he tells may not be 100% true. And then he goes into all the other things that he's involved in. Anyway, I just found it amusing the way things work like that. So this guy does scamming on it could be scamming on a bigger scale, and the scam that he's doing is not saying what he's really done, which is not what's the truth. Anyway, just thought people might be interested. Bye.